play to your strengths, right? What is the strongest thing they've got are these tanks. And it's the same thing that we run into in business, and it's the same thing you run into in life and jiu-jitsu everywhere. What are you strong at? What are your strong areas? That's what you focus on. That's what you use to lead your advance. Now, do we train for our weaknesses? Absolutely. You know, we do that all the time. Do we when we have a weakness in a business, we don't go, hey, let's just cover this up. No, we focus on it so that we can prove it. But if we're going to go to market with something, let's go to market with something that we're good at, right? If we're gonna try and set up some expansion into a new area, let's set up the expansion into a new area that we're familiar with, that we're good at, that we're strong in. Let's not say, hey, you know what? We've been making cars for the last 50 years. Let's go over here and make computers. No. We're going to make cars? Okay, let's make trucks too. We know how to build vehicles. That's what I'm saying. And you see this all the time with jiu-jitsu. What do jiu-jitsu guys do? What they should do, which is try and play to your strengths, right? Yeah.
In competition.
In competition, yeah. Right? Of course, when we're training, we play to our weaknesses, right? We want to, I don't like people being across side. Cool, let them get across side.
Yeah.
I don't like being on the bottom. Cool. I'm going to be on the bottom. But in competition, what are you good at? How do you get the person to play your game? Think about that. Should you defend bad leaders, that are people that are in charge of you, should you defend them to your men? Now, this is really a perfect example of the dichotomy of leadership. And this is one of those situations that makes leadership very, very hard because it requires a nuanced balance to handle this correctly. So, on the one hand, if we say our boss is a bad leader and doesn't know what he's doing, just like, the boss, hey, Echo, our boss doesn't know what he's doing, he's an idiot, we undermine his authority for sure, and we undermine the authority of the whole chain of command. Yeah. So, should you call out when someone sucks? You say, oh, that guy sucks, he's terrible. Should you do that to your leader? The answer is no. You can't do that. You can't do that because you're undermining everything. So you got a horrible leader? You can't just sit there to your boys and say, hey, this guy's an idiot. Can't do that. However, if you give full support to this horrible boss, then your troops, who know a good leader from a bad leader, they know what's stupid and what isn't. They know this. And if you are sitting there backing them 100%, then they're going to know that you either actually agree with the bad leader, which is bad, or that you're too weak to stand up and say, hey, boss, what we're doing is wrong. So you can't go to one extreme, the boss is an idiot. You can't go to the other extreme, the boss is awesome. Think about how hard that is. Think about what I'm saying. This is very, very challenging. So what can you do? Well, okay, first of all, as a subordinate leader, it is your duty to push back, right? To say, hey, boss, I think we're doing the wrong thing here. And this is why we spend a lot of time trying to build relationships with our bosses so that we can have candid conversations with them, right? Sometimes it's hard to do that. It is. I understand. But when you have built a relationship, then you can go to your boss and say, hey, look, this isn't good. Now, once you've done that, then you can go to your troops and you say, hey, look, I went to the boss. This is what I told him. You know, I told him that, hey, doing this method isn't going to work well. He explained to me while we're doing it. This is what he said. So this is why we're using this method. I know it's not popular with you guys, but it's here's the reason why we're doing it. So you made progress, right? Your guys are saying, okay, well, he at least stood up to the man, and now he gave us an answer. He told us why we're doing what we're doing, so that's good too. But the other thing is, one of the easiest way to do this is to provide an honest opinion. Truth is going to be your friend here. Truth is going to be your friend. Now, I should put a caveat around that, because the truth might be, you think your boss is a complete idiot and everything he's saying is stupid. Okay, so I take it back. Don't use full-on truth. And this is so interesting too, because clearly truthfulness is a huge, it's a value that I hold very dear, right? And you got to be truthful and all that. I'm telling you right now, do not be true. If you think your boss is an idiot and you think the method that he's picking or the plan he's got is stupid, don't be truthful with your guys and go down there and say, boss is an idiot. It's not going to help your team, right? Yeah. We have to be smart about what we're doing. But when you do that, what you need to do is keep it somewhere in the middle, okay? So when you say something negative, don't get all crazy with the negative. Don't get all nuts with the negative. What you want to do is you say something like, hey, look, I'm sure there's some better ways of doing this, but this is the decision that was made and we need to make it work. Right? So I'm not saying it's horrible. I'm saying, look, hey guys, I'm sure there's some better ways, but guess what? This is what we are being told to do right now, and we're going to do the best we can. Mm-hmm. Notice that I'm putting it from like them to the we. I'm taking ownership of it. This is now ours to execute. Yeah. So you want to do that, and I also want to focus more on, as much as I can, I want to focus on not the personality of the boss, but I want to focus on like the what we're being told type thing, or what the mission is, because I want to keep the personality of the boss at bay. Sometimes you get a boss that has such a raging asshole personality that you have to say something, like you have to explain, and that's when even then you want to ratchet it down a little bit. You don't say, hey, the boss is an asshole, the boss is an idiot. No, you don't say that. You say, hey, look guys, I know the boss is not exactly perfect, but I think he means well with what he's trying to do, and that way we need to focus, for that reason we need to focus on executing, because it's not going to help us to sit here and complain about the boss. He might not have the greatest personality, but you know what? His intention is good, so let's support him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something like that, where you're not giving him full support, but you're not completely throwing him under the bus. Again, this is so hard to do because, let's face it, the boys, the troops, they know what's up. They know when that boss is an idiot. They know when he's unprofessional. They know when he treats you like shit. They know that stuff. And so if you bow down, if you break and you give that to him, yes, you're right, the boss is a jerk. Yes, you're right, the boss treats people like shit. Yeah, if you give them that, you're hurting the situation. And that's why also when you're in a leadership position, your job oftentimes is to buffer between the jerk boss and the boys. The boys should never know that the kind of stupid harassment that you get from your boss. The boys should never know that. They should think, hey, Jocko says this guy's good to go. We're good to go. Yeah. They should never think that this guy's an idiot. Yeah. So, again, in both cases, it's like you can't go hardcore. You can't go hardcore against either the plan or the person. But you also, at the same time, you need to give a little bit of a pressure release. Just a little bit of a pressure release, You got to give them just enough that they go. You know what you want them to think? You want them to think, hey, Jocko gets it. He knows. Mm-hmm. He's not admitting it to us, and good on him. He's keeping it professional. They know they know that Jocko, they know I don't love the boss, but they know I'm keeping it professional. So therefore they accept what I'm saying and they stay part of the team. You start coming up with your plan and you're already starting to get some pushback from the boys on what it is. Well, what do? Listen to them. Listen to them. Why are they pushing back? You know what I mean? Why are they pushing back? Maybe they have some good points. Is that possible? Maybe you're a little bit off base on the plan that you're coming up with or the strategy that you're coming up with. Maybe you're not. Of course, that's always possible too. Maybe they're wrong and you're right. But hear them out. If I say, hey, we're going to hit the target from this direction here, and my team disagrees with what I'm saying, well, why are they disagreeing? What's the reason for that? How do they think we should do it? They should think we should come in from the south, and I think we should come from the north. Why do they think that? Now, if I know something is right, and I am right, then guess what? I can explain it to them and they'll say, oh, Jocko, we didn't know that. Yeah. We didn't know that there was defenses that we hadn't been told about to the south and why that's why we should come into the north. Or we didn't know that the sun would be at our back from the north and that's why. We didn't know that at the time. So you're right. Now, if I can't explain it to them, if I can't give them a reason why my strategy or my plan is better, then there's something wrong with my plan, or there's something wrong with my ability to explain it to them, right? So if you're doing the right things for the right reasons, you'll be able to convince your team of the strategy or of the plan. And if you can't, it's a hint that maybe you need to adapt your strategy, or maybe you need to adapt your plan. Now, be advised, this is not easy. This is not easy to do. First of all, you have to get your ego in check, right? Because you think you've come up with the plan and you think it's the master plan. So you have to put your ego in check. Secondly, you might actually have the best plan, but maybe you don't have the ability to articulate the nuances of the plan. And so you get a guy that's a really articulate guy that's arguing with you on his plan, and he's actually winning the argument, even though your plan might be better. Mm-hmm. That's a tough situation to be in. So that means you've got to really get in the weeds. Now, one thing that you could do in that situation is say, hey, I'm in charge. Shut up. Listen to me. Mm-hmm. And again, this might be a situation where you're right and they're wrong. But if you can't articulate that properly, and now the only way to do it is to pull rank on them, hey, you're going to go backwards, right? You're going to go backwards. So you have to be very careful of that. Again, this is why it's important to have good command of the English language. That's why it's important to listen. That's why it's important to take people's ideas. And that's the thing with being a leader, okay? Have an open mind. Have open ears. Listen. Communicate. And lead your team not by rank, right? But by being able to discern and uncover and mold and shape the best possible plan and the best possible strategy by and through understanding everyone's perspectives and ideas, and then taking all those perspectives and all those ideas and coordinating them into a unified thought that leads the team to victory. That is hard. That is hard to do.
Yeah.
But the minute that I'm telling somebody, hey, no, just do it my way, I know that there's something wrong here. Either I'm not articulating right, which means I should take the time, because if I'm right and you're wrong, we should be able to get there to where you see that.
Yeah.
We should be able to get there. We could also get to a point where it's 6 and 1, half dozen the other.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? We could get to that point too. And at that point, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use your plan. If it's 6-1, half dozen the other, I'm going to use your plan.
Yeah.
Echo says come in from the north. I say come in from the west. We look at the pros and cons of each. I'm going to go with your plan. Would you want to come in from the west? Yeah, okay. If it's 50-50, I'm going to go with your plan. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you the ownership. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Even, I'll tell you, even 60-40, I'm probably going to give it to you. We get to, 70-30, now you're going to see it. Mm-hmm. You're going to see the light.
Yeah.
If you have any brain. Now, you could also be an egomaniac, right? Who's like, my way, my way, my way. Right. Now we've got to break through that. How do we do that? It's not by attacking your plan, which you're going to defend because you're an egomaniac. Instead, I'm going to say, well, tell me the benefits of your plan. Let's weigh it out between your plan and my plan. Maybe we adapt your plan a little bit. Oh, I like what you did here. I see where you're coming from. That's a really good point. I didn't think of that. But also we need to consider this that I didn't, we didn't know before. So now we got to adjust. So those are the things that are hard. Those are the things that are hard about being a leader. But the best thing you can do, open your mind, open your ears, listen to what people are saying, take it on board. If their plan is better than yours, great, use it. If it's not better than yours, okay, articulate the reasons why. Have the conversations with them. Don't be scared. For instance, like you're saying, people these days, they say, oh, you got to let your emotions out. You got to let your emotions out. If you got to cry. And I understand where that's coming from. And you can get to a point as a person, if there's something that's really traumatic that's happening and all you do is hold it in, and I've seen guys get destroyed over that because they're not expressing the emotions that they have. Right. But that's at a big level, right? At a daily level, no. Yeah. You don't express those things. You keep them inside. That's why I say it like that. Like I'm being kind of sarcastic, but at the same time I'm being serious.
Yeah.
You know, it's just don't let your emotions out and into the world. Yeah. Keep them for yourself. Own them.
Yeah.
Keep them for yourself. Don't share them with other people if you don't have to.
Yeah.
Now, again, people are going to freak out that I'm saying this because you bury your emotions. Because that what happens when you when you've got something really traumatic that you bury, then it eats you apart. Yeah. And I've talked about that. I mean, talking about things that you go through in life and expressing those feelings that you have about them, that's good. Mm-hmm. But what we're talking about is not that. What we're talking about is daily emotions, little ups and downs, little tick marks on your Richter scale. We're not talking about an 8.8 on the Richter scale, right? We're talking about just like little twos.
Yeah.
And when you express those 2s and 3s on the Richter scale out to people, you just look unstable. It's a great point that oftentimes expressing your emotions to the world doesn't improve your situation or your position at all.
Correct.
In fact, I would say that most of the time, expressing your emotions to the world sets you back. And that is why I vote in many cases to stifle your emotions. Keep them in.
Yeah.
Don't let other people see. You put your cards on the table, right? You put your emotional cards on the table. Now you can't gamble anymore. You're not in the game anymore. The person knows what's going on. That you're giving it to them. You're not going to know what I'm thinking. You're going to think everything's cool with me. Yeah. We're training jiu-jitsu, right? If I'm getting frustrated and I show that to you, what does that do? You're getting, all of a sudden, you just go level up. You're thinking, oh, I got him. He's frustrated right now. He can't. Oh, I'm working. This is working against him. If I'm just saying the same face all the time, which is what I do primarily, hey, same face all the time. Just, moving the same way. When you do get me, I forget what you say. When you get me to react to something good.
Recognize the urgency.
Yeah, you say, oh, I recognize a little urgency there. And I always go, damn. I don't want him to recognize. I'd rather just have you just pass my guard and you're just there and me just sit there like it's no big deal because it's not. Then me get all panicky. Yeah. Where then you level up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with life, right? Yep. Every time you express these big emotions to your boss or to your team, you express these big emotions to your team, they see all your cards. Don't let them see all your cards. Is this manipulating? Kind of. Right? This is one of those things where people think, oh, transparency. We hear that all the time these days. Transparency. You got to be transparent. No, actually you don't.
Yeah, not with that.
You don't have to be transparent all the time. Yeah. You have to win the game. You know what? Does the football coach go out and hand his playbook to the other football team? No. He's got to win the game.
Yeah, typically no.
And that's not how you win the game. So are we... You know what we're doing? We're playing chess. It's emotional chess. You're playing with other human beings. You want to win. Now, if you're winning so that I can take advantage of you, so I can manipulate you and get something from you that you don't want to give me, that's bad. And I'm not talking about doing that. But if what I'm doing is keeping my calm so that instead of escalating an argument with you, I'm getting you to see it from my perspective just by remaining calm, that's what we're talking about here. Leif told that story the other day where... he tells the story a lot because it was a hilarious story where I came in, we didn't have a chance to talk to each other as he was planning this big operation, and I come in 10 minutes before the operation. I said, hey, let me see what you're doing, and he kind of shows me on a map, hey, we're gonna go here, and there, and it's like, hey, you should do this instead. And he was like, dude, we're leaving in 10 minutes. And I said, man, but just think about it. And he goes, you know what? Just cancel the op. And he was all mad, right? And he's like, and Jocko kind of like laughed at me. I didn't laugh at him like a jerk, I was like, no, but I was like, hey man, listen, just think about what I'm saying right now. But that's an example. Right. I didn't show my emotions, which would be more like, dude, are you serious right now? You're gonna cancel an op because we have a difference of opinion? Think about I didn't do that. I was like, hey man, I get it. Right. everyone's stressed out right now. We got to leave on this thing quickly. Think about what I'm saying, though. Look at this is all I'm saying. We could execute this in a better way. So that's what I'm talking about. Does that make me manipulative? No, it doesn't make me manipulative. It makes us as a team do a better job. Yeah. And as soon as Leif saw that, he was like de-escalated himself. He was good to go. We move on.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. Stifle your emotions at all times. Well, what you do in this situation is you give them all the support you can and let them run. I'm happy if someone's outperformed me. That's great. You know what else I'll do? Try and learn from them. See what they're doing. Try and spread the word. If I'm in a leadership position and someone's outperforming everyone, great. How can we take that? How can we teach it to everyone else? How can I give them support so they can run even faster? This is no factor to me. I love it. You should be surrounding. The more people you can bring on your team that outperform you, the better you're going to do.
True.
Check.
Easy money. Next question.
Yeah, next question.
Yeah, a lot of times that's hard though. You know, and I know you're going to say, that's your ego.
Oh, am I going to say it in that voice? Is it not true? We know it's your ego. It's 100% ego when you can't support somebody that's doing better than you. It's 100% ego. Why else would you not support them? They're helping the team win.
I know.
They're helping everyone do better.
Yeah.
Why would you not support them? Because your ego. Because you're like, ooh, that hurts.
Yeah. I want to be the guy.
And you know what you look like then? You look like a jealous
baby.
Little baby. Yeah. Word of the day, baby. You look like a little jealous little baby. Because you're trying to hold them back, and everyone can see it, and everyone can tell. Yeah. And just don't be that person.
Yeah, Brad, that's a good point right there. Everyone can tell, Brad.
Everyone can
sees
tell
what's going on.
It's one of those dichotomies is that people can be so ignorant to things and yet so perceptive to things.
Yeah.
So, and the things like that, they're so perceptive too.
Yeah.
Echo doesn't like to see Jocko outshine him.
Yep.
That's why he's trying to hold him back. Oh, he's not sending him on that trip.
Yeah.
We could win that deal. Oh, he's going to go instead.
Yeah.
Hey, I won the deal, guys. Yeah. I'm great. No. Biggest thing we got to do is build a relationship with that person. You know, you got to get in that person's head. You got to find out what's going on. You got to find out. You got to talk to them. You got to build that relationship. You got to talk to them about why they're going over your head. Then you know what? When they say, "Well, I'm going over your head because this happens," you go, "Oh, I didn't know that. You know, I'm going to get that fixed." And you build up a little trust. And then they say some other problem, and you get that one fixed. And then you say, "Hey, man, you know what's kind of hurts the team is when you're telling the team things that are negative." And if we could work together to, you tell me what's going on that's negative, and then we solve the problem, we're going to do better as a team. And that's my goal, is just to do better as a team. And I see that you're a leader because people listen to you. And when you start saying negative things, they start thinking negatively because you're just an influential person. And the influence you have over people is something that is going to can be very beneficial to what we're doing. If you want it to be. I want you to want it to be. But, I'm not you. You have that. I don't. So let's work. If you could help me move this in a positive direction so our team can be more successful. That's the kind of thing I would do here. And the other thing is, ask them straight up. Hey, what am I doing wrong as a leader? What can I do better? Where can I make more things happen? So that way, and what you're doing is you're letting down your guard. You're letting them, giving the opportunity to hopefully be honest with you about what you're doing wrong. And then you can give them, you can correct those measures. Now, there is a possibility that this person is a jerk. And when you say, what am I doing wrong? They go back and say, hey, this guy doesn't even know what he's doing. So that's why you need to take it slowly and feel the situation out and make an assessment of how they're going to react to these things and build a little bit of leadership capital with that person before you go and say, hey, what am I screwing up? Because then it's, dude, Jocko doesn't even know what he's doing. He's asking me what he should be doing. So if the person's a jerk, you have to watch out for that. So that's where we're going to build a relationship first. But there's also just mentally, just weakness. Just the easy path, I should say. Right. The discipline path is hard. The easy path that anyone wants to jump on when your alarm clock goes off, blah, 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 right? I've talked about these things a million times. That's what the problem is. The problem isn't even a distraction. The problem is just the lack of will to do what you need to do.
Right.
Distraction can add to that. That's a part of it. What we do is we take our the path of least resistance, and then we throw distraction on top of that. For instance, when you open up your computer because you got to write a book, and instead of opening the word processor, you go, I'm just going to check the interwebs real quick.
Distracted.
Yeah, you're distracted. There goes 45 minutes. You ever notice? Seriously, the internet is a time warp.
Oh, yeah.
Your time just disappears in the internet.
There's a lot of distractions on there.
Yeah,
for sure. And really, what I mean by distraction is you have this long-term goal, right? Your goal is your payoff, your long-term payoff. So the distractions really are these little short-term payoffs that drag you, that distract you. So that's what the distraction is.
I like how you broke that out for me.
Right.
Distract.
Right,
Get
exactly.
you off the track.
Exactly right. So the weakness will let those distractions kind of take hold, for sure. But so yeah, they work hand in hand for sure. So if you can, because again, that saving money for comic books thing, so consider that as the goal. So the distractions are going to be the candy that you want to buy, or the, I don't know, you play dice with your friend. I don't know, whatever the distractions is in regards to that specific path.
I like Echo's world right now. Like playing dice with your friends, saving for comic books. It's like 1956. I like it.
But either way, like the distractions, they're irrelevant. So when I say, okay, the distractions are there. When I say there's industries of distractions, again, I'm not saying those are bad things. They are bad things if they're distracting you from your goal. So you can have all kinds of goals.
Because if you think about it, sometimes you just need to let your mind take a rest.
Yeah, fully.
And you need one of those. I got something to say.
Catch a football game. Yeah.
I just flew home from, like, I've been on the road all over the world. Did the muster, did a bunch of speeches, did some consulting, was all over the place, on the plane the whole time. And I flew home from the East Coast. When was that? A couple days ago. And when I flew, I haven't done this in forever. I flew home. I watched a movie.
Oh, yeah.
I just did a total distraction because I said, you know what? I can't. I'm not in the game right now. Like, I need, my brain just needs to shut off and do something, which I don't like to do, which is you can either do two things. I look at it, you can either consume or you can produce, right? Yeah. I want to be producing. I want to be putting together. I want to be writing. I want to be thinking. I want to be reading for the podcast, prepping. That's what I want to be doing. Yeah. I want to be producing something. Consuming is I'm just absorbing what someone else made. Yeah. Right? I'm just going to absorb this. A lot of times it is garbage. So, but I flew home, had a long flight, and I was like, you know what? I need to check out. Right. I need to check out right now and just do nothing. Yeah. So I watched 2 movies.
Dig it.
Two movies.
What'd you watch?
We got to know what you're going to ask. The 2 movies I watched. The first one was not Heartbreak Ridge. It's the new movie that just came out.
With who? About
DOS that Mel Gibson directed. What's it called?
I don't know.
It was a big, successful movie. Conscientious objector, World War II, he wins the Medal of Honor, or he's awarded the Medal of Honor. So that was a good movie. It's a World War II movie. I liked it. It's not, in my opinion, 5-star, but it was good. It was entertaining.
Sure.
It told the story. And then after that, I watched Zoolander. That was when I was going into full decompression mode.
Good on you, bro.
I watched Zoolander.
Yeah.
Because it's a hilarious movie. I have a buddy in the teams that we nicknamed Mugatu.
Sure.
Yeah, because, he would go crazy. So we had to call him Mugatu.
Yeah.
And that was just a funny movie. I just decompressed. Yeah, and man. I don't do that very often.
Hey, dig it.
The grind is always happening. But I just had to take a little detachment. What was the name of that movie? There's not famous actors. I guess there's one. Who's the really funny guy? Anyways, it was a good movie.
Yeah. So so the question is that really a distraction? So, like a football game or a movie or something that you're not doing to put you, more forward on your path or whatever. But if you're taking a break, is that a distraction? Like if I'm lifting, I do a workout and then I go recover from that workout by resting, is that a distraction?
No, it wasn't a distraction.
Right.
I should have grinded though.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was done. In your mind.
I was done. So I tapped out.
So a distraction is more of an idea, more the concept, So
there's definitely things that are distracting.
Just like how you said when you open your computer and the whole internet is there to distract you in one way or another.
Yeah.
That's a distraction, where you can, like, even if I have a book, if my goal is to finish some video, but meanwhile I have this book that's real informative and something, and I'm like, that book seems real, I'm real in the mood to read that book, that's a distraction, even though it's a good thing, so the distraction is like the idea. So what are the common goals? I want to get in shape, I want to be a better husband or life, or I want to do better at work, I want to learn more, I want to read all this stuff.
Get better at jujitsu.
All this stuff, you can get distracted by these other things. Before I don't know, read, I'm going to surf Instagram or something like that. That's a distraction, And now, which was my original point, is the reason, or one of the reasons, that we don't apply this extreme discipline as it's outlined in these books here is one of the reasons is because we have literally infinite amount of distractions right now.
Well, there's also no consequence, or I shouldn't say that. The consequence isn't visible.
Yeah.
The consequence, you don't say, hey, if I would have had discipline, I would reach this ultimate potential. You just okay with not reaching that ultimate potential, and you're okay with just like putting microwavable popcorn in and watching a movie.
You've been doing it the whole time.
Yeah,
I'm still here.
Hey, I'm still here. I'm good.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was a good movie, and the popcorn tasted good.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's the wrong answer.
Yeah.
You don't recognize what your potential is, and so you're just okay with this kind of half potential.
Yeah.
You don't reach your potential, and since you don't know it. And the other thing, it's hard to see how that long term affects you.
Yeah.
You're like, it's just one bag of popcorn and it's just one movie.
Yeah.
But you did that 3 times this week.
Yeah.
That's not getting you
30
towards your goals.
times, in the past 10 weeks.
Yeah, you could write 30,000 words.